Okay, here we go again. And I'm definitely hoping there's some volume. Okay, there's a little bit of a lag maybe, but I'm seeing that the volume's going up and down, so hopefully this is going to work. And I'm just going to be on for a little bit. I was out and about this morning, so I'm excited because this afternoon I'm going to be starting Bellwether. My library notified me yesterday that 4 of the 6 books I put on hold were available for pickup at my home branch. So I'm looking forward to this. This is Bellwether by Connie Willis. And this was recommended by a viewer, so I'm looking forward to getting into that. I enjoy science fiction. And then I picked up, and I always worry about saying this last name wrong, but this is Paulo Coelho, The Spy, and I read it a little while ago, and I picked it up because I still need to make the video about that. I did my video with manuscript found in Accra, and I'm having a mind fart. The Archer. There we go. And I also have The Best of Connie Willis. So this is a number of her short stories. So definitely a chance to get a better idea about her writing style. And then so far they just had the 10th in sight. So I'm waiting for number 11 and 12 to come in, and then I'll go pick those up at the library when they're ready. So I'm looking forward to that for sure. And I just finished The Way of the Peaceful Warrior, a book that changes lives. And that's by Dan Millman. And I read it a number of years ago, and it was great to revisit and check it out again. I definitely recommend if you enjoy parables, it's a great read. And like the Celestine Prophecy and a number of Paulo's books, it's a story with examples and life lessons and some pretty good information in it that you can incorporate into everyday life. And when I'm reading something like this, that's what I'm really looking for. The Celestine Prophecy and the Insights had a number of different things in terms of a mindset, things to be aware of. Same with The Way of the Peaceful Warrior. It's about making lifestyle and decision changes and just leading a calmer, more peaceful life. Okay, well, hopefully there's some volume to this. I think this time the microphone should be working. And the screen doesn't seem to be lagging. So now I just need to find a time when other people are on and available to chat. It's currently 1 o'clock on Saturday here in Ontario. So I'm sure other people are out and about and busy. Okay. Oh, I see somebody else has come in. So I just went over the library books that I had picked up. I'm still waiting for two more in the Celestine Prophecy series. And yesterday, it's a good thing these books are all handy. I started Why People Don't Heal and How They Can. This is by Carolyn Miss. And again, if you've been through some of my other videos, then you notice that I tend to read some of the older books. I've got some newer books, but at the moment, I set my goal in January 2022 to read or reread the books in my personal library. And behind me is one of my cabinets that has 8 cubes in it. Across the room is my other big bookcase with 16 cubes in it. And I featured those on a couple of videos with my library tours, but they've recently changed again. So at the moment, excuse me, these 4 cubes are all books that are waiting to be read. One of the cubes at the bottom is my coloring books and design just for fun. And then 3 of the cubes are all books that are waiting to be summarized. Beside me, I have my box of paranormal books that are waiting to be summarized. Hey, John Paul, good to see you. Oh, no. Oh, yay, the sound's working. Super. Awesome. Well, enjoy your meal and thanks for stopping by. And good to know. So, probably starting about 2 or 3 in the afternoon might be a better time to connect with people. But okay, awesome. So now the volume is working. Yay. I've had one person come in, so that's super as well. All right, so we're off to a whole new adventure in terms of live streams. But yeah, so as I was saying with Carolyn Miss, I've read some of her other books. I think the one that I had was Sacred Contracts, and I gave that a try, and I've passed that along. So far, this seems to be interesting. And she's a medical intuitive, so someone who sees certain things without an x-ray machine. She's been around for quite a while, and I have one of her books on archetypes, which I found to be quite helpful, and I'll be covering that in a future video. So this was an interesting find through one of my thrift store trips, and I figured for $5, it was definitely worth checking out. I love going to my local thrift store. And another book that I'm currently reading, because I tend to have a bunch of different books on the go at one time, is Seth Speaks. And this is by Jane Roberts. I read this a number of years ago and I really enjoyed. Good to know. All right. Thanks so much for that, John Paul. So earlier in the afternoon, later in the evening. Awesome. Yeah, and I'll have to keep note of that because it's 1 o'clock here, and I think in the UK it's 5 hours ahead, if I remember correctly. And I guess that may even depend on what part of the UK you're in. Yeah, so Seth Speaks was my introduction to work that is channeled. So Jane spoke with a presence, dimensional being known as Seth, and she was quite popular. What I found reading it this time, because I hadn't heard of Esther Hicks or Abraham when I first read Seth Speaks, is how much the stuff that Esther Hicks talks about sounds so much like Jane Roberts. And I know that Esther and Jerry Hicks actually had a chance to go meet Jane Roberts, and that was the start of some of their journey into channeling and that type of work. So I'm enjoying reading this, and this is going to be one of those books that I'm not going to end up finishing front to back quickly. I find that I pick it up when there's information that I need to read. And that was part of why I started Carolyn Miss's book yesterday. There was definitely something in there that connected with an event that's happening in my life right now. And I definitely needed to, okay, it's all the same time. Thanks, John Paul. Yeah, actually, I had the pleasure of being in England when I was 16, and I actually turned 17 in Bexhill-on-the-Sea, where my stepmother's family lives. So that was kind of cool. I've been to England once. It was one, I really enjoyed it. It was a great trip. Okay, well, I'm glad to know that everything's working. And I guess in the future, I will try to aim for maybe 3 and on a Saturday afternoon could potentially work. I was going to try yesterday, and then I noticed that Ouija Brothers was coming on, so I didn't want to interfere with that. Okay, thanks so much for stopping by, John Paul. I appreciate it, and for your help and letting me know. Enjoy your dinner. Thanks so much. Okay, well, I now can say I've done a live stream. I've had someone come in, and I will definitely aim, maybe next Saturday, I'll plan to do this at, well, it'll be 3 p.m. Ontario time. So I'm thinking that's 8 p.m. for my British viewers. I'll see if some of the folks that I follow and who have been following me from the States pop in. I know we've got some different time frames there, and we certainly have some different weather and issues here as well. I've just noticed the East Coast is getting ready for a potential hurricane named Franklin. The other one had just hit California. Definitely interesting times with the weather and other issues. Okay, well, I'm going to call that a wrap. Wow, I'm surprised. Almost 15 minutes already. Okay, well, John Paul, I hope you're enjoying your dinner. Thank you so much for stopping by. And I will give this a whirl again next Saturday, 3 p.m. Ontario, Canada time. And I hope to be able to meet a few more of you. Have a great weekend.